What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's enjoying their day so far. We are back with some more fantasy football content. Today, we're going to be giving you the Week 3 fantasy football waiver wire ads and players you need to be rostering heading into the new week of the season. Now, whether you're looking to continue your win streak or get on the board first in 2025, we're going to give you a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends to keep on your radar heading into week number 3. So, without further ado, let's get into the first player they're going to be looking at, and that's going to be at the quarterback position with Daniel Jones of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Daniel Jones has been a surprise so far through the first 2 weeks of the season, and 20-plus points in back-to-back outings so far to open up this season. In week number 2, and a defense in the Denver Broncos that looked tough on paper, Jones really played well. 316 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and also 1 rushing touchdown as well. So not only Jones is giving you that passing volume, but the rushing upside is still there to boost him up to 22.84 points in week number 2 against the Broncos. Now, heading into week number 3 matchup against the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans defense is definitely gettable. They allow the top 5 most points against the quarterback, both in the rushing and the passing department. So it is a very good matchup against the Tennessee Titans, and he is projected 18.2. But I wouldn't be shocked if he once again continues that streak of 20-plus points in his fantasy football outing. And he is rostered in 21% of leagues, so he's definitely attainable in the waiver wire. Whether you have to put in a claim on him or spend a lot of fab on him, I would definitely put either a claim or money down on him. So Daniel Jones is going to be the top quarterback ad, but if you're looking for other quarterbacks, especially with all the injuries that are going on this week and over the next couple of weeks, Joe Burrow is going to be out for the next 3 months with a turf toe injury. J.J. McCarthy is going to expect to be out for the next 2 to 4 weeks with an ankle sprain. And then Jane Daniels, don't know if he's going to be playing on Sunday. So that's definitely 3 quarterback situations to monitor. But other quarterbacks, just to keep your eye on, I know that a lot of people are going to be wanting to go after Russell Wilson, especially after he put up 450 yards, but I would definitely be hesitant of that. And other quarterbacks to keep in mind, Jake Browning, just because he's going to be the quarterback 1 there for a very talented Cincinnati Bengals offense. And Trevor Lawrence is also a quarterback just to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks, because it has been a slow start for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. But those are just a couple of quarterbacks to keep in mind after week number 3 and beyond. Now let's move on to the running back position. We're going to be looking at our first of 2 rookie running backs here in Cam Scatterbo. Now the rookie class in the redraft, so you had Ashton Genty and Amari Hampton go early in the drafts. Then you had Travion Henderson, Cam Scatterbo, and Caleb Johnson go after that. But Scatterbo looks like he is taking over the RB1. Heading into the season, it looks like it was going to be Tyrone Tracy, then Cam Scatterbo was just going to slowly crawl his way getting that RB1. But right now, I would say it's a committee, but I wouldn't be shocked in the next couple of weeks if Cam Scatterbo becomes that RB1 for this Giants offense. They just put up 40-plus points against the Dallas Cowboys defense. Now the defense is only going to get tougher from here on out. But week number 2 against the Dallas Cowboys, he had 11 attempts, 45 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. In week number 2, he finished with 13.9. So that's the most fantasy points that he has accumulated in a weekly matchup. And heading into week number 3, it is a tougher matchup against a very stout Kansas City Chiefs front 7, 9.9 projected total points. So I would stash him for now. It is a tough matchup, but I think moving forward, I think that Cam Scatterbo is definitely a running back to monitor over the next couple of weeks. And he is rostered in 71% of leagues. So a lot of people have Scatterbo already rostered. But if you're in a league where he's available, I would definitely scoop him up if you can. Now let's move on to the next running back. Like I mentioned, there's going to be 2 rookie running backs. And we're going to go with Bishal Tuten of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars running back situation has changed over the last couple of weeks, especially this past week, whenever Tank Bigsby was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. So that left Tuten and Travis Etienne as the top 2 running backs. Travis Etienne got most of the rushing side, but Tuten really got a lot of work in the receiving department, and that's where his 1 receiving touchdown came in the red zone. He also had 8 attempts and 42 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and he finished with 15.4 fantasy points. So one of the bright spots on that Jaguars offense was the running backs in Etienne and Tuten. So if Etienne goes down with an injury, I think that Tuten could definitely be a league winner and become a top 25, top 30 fantasy football running back moving forward. But even with Etienne healthy, I think that Tuten definitely gets on the field more than you think. So I think that Tuten could definitely be a viable asset, whether you're just looking for a flex opportunity in deeper leagues or just stash him with the next couple of weeks of the season. And look forward to week 3 facing off against a divisional opponent in the Houston Texans. Only projected 5.7. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes over that because I think he's going to get more volume as the season goes on. And he is rostered in 40% of leagues, so he's also gettable along with other players that we're going to be looking at. And another running back, an honorable mention to be looking at over the next couple of weeks is Tyjae Spears. I know he is dealing with an injury. He is currently on the injured reserve, but he is expected to be back on the field over the next couple of weeks. And this, Tony Pollard hasn't looked that great. And we saw Tyjae Spears give you that rushing and receiving upside on a talented Titans offense led by rookie quarterback in Cam Ward. So look out for Tyjae Spears and also look out for Tuden and Scadaboot on the waiver wire moving forward. Now let's go on to the wide receivers. I'm going to stay with the youth here. Let's go with Troy Franklin of the Denver Broncos. Now, Franklin came out of nowhere, in my opinion, in week number 2. It looks like Courtland Sutton we're just going to be the focal point of this offense. But Troy Franklin may just be the wide receiver, too, of this Broncos offense that really struggled in the week 1 matchup against the Tennessee Titans. I mean, Bo Nix only had 8 fantasy points, and you saw Courtland Sutton get that touchdown. And Troy Franklin in a game where Bo Nix bounced back pretty well in week number 2. And looking at his stats, 8 receptions, 89 yards, and 1 passing touchdown. So the volume and the target share is definitely there for Franklin to be a viable fantasy asset moving forward for your rosters. In week 2, exploded with 24 fantasy points. And week number 3, this is a tougher matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. However, that secondary has been gettable. In week number 1, you saw Hollywood Brown get 16 targets, 99 receiving yards. And then the Monday night matchup against the Raiders, Jacoby Myers led all receivers for the Raiders in that department. You saw Brock Bowers get a couple of targets as well. So with all that being said, Franklin's projected 11 points in all PPR formats. And he's rostered in pretty much every single league. Only 2% of leagues have Franklin on their roster. So once again, this is definitely a very gettable player that you get on your roster that can provide you very good value moving forward. Now let's move on to the next wide receiver, Alec Amanor of the Tennessee Titans. And now the Tennessee Titans offense has definitely struggled early on, but I think this is going to be an offense that should improve week in and week out, especially when you have so many rookies on this offense. But he was sensational in week number 2, 4 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown. And the volume is definitely there for Amanor moving forward in week 2 against a tough Rams defense. They did scoop up 15.6 fantasy points in that outing. And the defenses will start. I mean, the Titans, like out the gates, got the Broncos, and they also have the Rams defense. You know, the Colts defense has been pretty good, but they're definitely attainable to get in the secondary. Week 3 projected total points 9.8. So if you need to start Amanor in your flex or to stash him for the next couple of weeks, he's only rostered in 8% of leagues, so he's very attainable moving forward. I think that the passing volume is only going to increase for this rookie wide receiver. Now, other wide receivers to look out for, especially one, is going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. He just had an insane outing along with Malik Neighbors. Now, is Russell Wilson going to have 450 passing yards and a lot of passing touchdowns every week? Probably not, but I think that Wan'Dale Robinson is more that boom bust. He kind of reminds me of like Jameson Williams. You know, you saw Jameson Williams this past week where going into the half, he didn't really have that many fantasy points, but he had like 2 50-yard catches that really got him over. So I think that Wan'Dale Robinson is more that big play receiver. He's more of a boom bust candidate. So that is just another wide receiver to look out for on the waiver wire in week number 3. Well, now we will go on to the tight end position that is very thin this year. It feels like it's very heavy at the top with Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. And tier number 2, who could it be? Could it be Tyler Warren? It would have been George Kittle, but he is suffering from an injury. He won't be back until the next couple of weeks. But Harold Fannin Jr., another rookie on this list of the Cleveland Browns. Now, heading into the season, I thought that David Njoku would have been in this position, but looks like Harold Fannin is lining up not only at the tight end position, but as a slot receiver. So he's getting a lot of volume in the passing game. Joe Flacco is looking to him a lot. He did get 5 receptions, 48 yards in a game where the Browns only scored 10 points against a very talented Baltimore Ravens defense. Now, this offense is going to be one of the worst in the NFL, to be honest with you. But I think that Harold Fannin, you're just looking for consistent volume at the tight end position. And week number 2, 9.8 points, and the targets are definitely there for Harold Fannin. It is a tough matchup against the Green Bay Packers, so I probably would opt out to not start Harold Fannin unless you really need to, if you're just really thin at the tight end position. But moving forward, he's rostered in only 28% of leagues. So I would definitely look after the rookie tight end. Now, last player we're going to be looking at of week number 3 waiver wire ads, and that's going to be Juwan Johnson of the New Orleans Saints. If you're talking about passing volume, Juwan Johnson has put up 15 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks if you play in PPR formats. And in week number 2 against the San Francisco 49ers, he had 5 catches. Probably could have had more catches if he didn't drop like 2 or 3 catches in the first couple of drives that the Saints had. So his day could have been better than that, but 5 catches, 49 yards in the touchdown. So he did get a lot of volume in week number 1. He didn't get that passing touchdown. He did get the passing touchdown that we were looking for of our tight end position to finish with 15.9 points against the 49ers defense. And then the NFC West just continues for the Saints. They already played the Cardinals and the 49ers in week 3. They do get a tough matchup against the Seattle Seahawks, but I would still play Juwan Johnson because Spencer Rattler is looking to Juwan Johnson early and often in these games. He is projected 10.6, and especially if you're dealing with George Kittle still being out with an injury, or if you're dealing with the ghost of Mark Andrews not really providing you anything for the first couple of weeks. He's only rostered in 48% of leagues, which is surprising to me. I think that number is going to be going up because I think that a lot of people are starting to look at Juwan Johnson of this season. So that is your fantasy football week 3 waiver wire ads. Let me know what players you're also looking at to scoop up in onto your roster. And I appreciate everybody for tuning into today's video, and we will catch y'all next time.